Greetings, greetings, greetings. You are now tuned into the vault. Trust Christian, own nothing, control everything. Just want to thank you for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listens in the replay. You're now tuned into the vault. Trust Christian, own nothing, control everything. Just want to thank you for tuning in live, listening to replay. This is a episode where the name of it is in the top 1% doing failure activities. Episode 792. Trust Christian, I need you to tell me what I'm not supposed to do. That's what people come to the voting as a trustee. Trustee training. I got a trust already, Trust Christian. Tell me what not to do. Trust Christian, I'm engaged in trusteeship. Okay. So you're in the top 1%. Oh man, Trust Christian, you trying to tell me it's really not that many people in the world that are in trusteeship? That are conscious trustees? Nope. So let's talk about, because you engaged in the top 1%, structure, form. We should almost say this is a form versus substance episode. So what's the substance, Trust Christian? What's the substance? The substance is your activities. So when trustees tell me they're not going to do a minute, when a trustee doesn't want to record the minutes, because that's how you record the activities, it lets you know they're doing failure activities. Really? Promise you. Failure activities is not recording the minutes on a regular basis when you make decisions. Failure activities is not going through a monthly P&L every single month. Failure activities is trying to manage it like an employee instead of actually managing it like a professional asset manager. So you say, oh, Trust Christian, break it down for me, because this is so complicated. It's all complex. Right. Trustees, the professionals win. The amateurs lose. There comes a point where you make a decision and you say, I will do what I am supposed to do as a 1%er. You may not want to identify yourself as a 1%er. Oh, I don't want to be better than other people. I don't want to be this. Well, then you don't want to be generational wealth trustee, because those are the 1%ers. Oh, Trust Christian, you got to go there? Look, ladies and gentlemen, some people are going to get up and they going to reach out to Trust Christian. They're going to do what they need to do in trusteeship. We'll see you in the rooms. We'll see you doing deals. We'll see you growing family estate. We'll see you at different events. That's what it is. Failure activities is not going to the events. Trust Christian from the bottom of his heart is trying to share with everyone that's listening. If you're not going to the events, you cannot expect to have generational wealth be transferred from the next generation. You could do all the work you want. Trust Christian, we're going to sit here and dang near tell you, if you did it all by yourself, it's not even going to make it past the first gen. We would love to BS you and tell you that. But ladies and gentlemen, we're sitting at the level where you make it past the first. We're sitting at the level that you make it past the second. Because we're sitting in the rooms with third generations. Plus, and they're telling you that they're at the events. That's what Trust Christian is trying to do his best to share with you guys. You gotta, failure activities, you're not going to the events. Trust Christian tells you about the events. If you're in real estate, you're not hooked up with the local real estate association. If you're in trusteeship, you're not hooked up to the local American Bankers Association. You're not associated with the local estate planners association. If you're in trusteeship, these are organizations you want to get locally accustomed to. The local organization could be the Rotary. How many trustees gone out to the Rotary? It's free. It's not even a paid membership. Well, actually it is. Yes, it is. We don't want to lie to you guys. You actually, they trust Christian. You told us to go, and we went in. It was $10,000. Shit, this $10,000. Trust Christian. Nah, it's not $10,000. But once again, you can go for free to find out. Oh man, people, Trust Christian, can I do the Chamber of Commerce? It's not gonna hurt. It's not always overly fruitful, but it's worth it. The events, failure activities. Oh, Trust Christian, I went to my family activities this month. Right? The family estate has family activities as well. That the trustee has to go to, not the beneficiaries. The trustee. Are you the trustee or are you the beneficiary? Because if you're moving like a trustee, these usually what our episodes are about. The top 1%, we're just trustees. Funny part about it is, everyone, don't take this the wrong way, ladies and gentlemen. People at the bottom, they want to own everything. People at the top 1%, we just want to control everything. You hear the thought process? Trust Christian, own nothing, control everything. Oh man, Trust Christian, it's got all it's control the deal. That's it. You need ownership or do you need control? Top 1% activities is actually not engaging in ownership activities and focused on engaging in control activities. Trust Christian, did you master that? Funny enough, Trust Christian has definitely made it a point to focus on doing activities that allow you to control things. And the mentors have trained us really well. Shout out to the mentors. Always appreciate the mentors. We know some of y'all listen to some of these episodes. We know some of y'all that we appreciate you. We appreciate you, mentors, because you guys have pushed us in so many different ways that it's just incredible. It's about the thought process. People try to call it, oh, it's the mindset. The top 1%, failure activities, the mentors. Hey, mentors, appreciate you all the time. Some people can say, oh, Trust Christian, I don't write my calendar down. And that's the wild part. You have a computer. People have these smartphones. But do they have a schedule written on paper? For the most part, most people don't. So the top 1%, they definitely got the schedule written down. We're not saying that it has to be on paper. It could be on a computer and it's blocked out and it's actually written out on a computer. It's no questions asked. It's no questions asked, ladies and gentlemen. It's no questions asked. Oh man, Trust Christian, you got your calendar written out. Do you have the activities written down? And you have the time that you did them and all this other stuff? That's what the mentors trained us to do. It's not because you think about it, as a trustee, it may not be a job, but if you don't treat it as better than the job that you had before it, then how you gonna sit here and say, oh yeah, I deserve generational wealth. Generational wealth is mine. It's just passed along with the ease. Ladies and gentlemen, we're not saying that it's not. What we are saying is generational wealth requires systems. Do you have a system set up? A calendar system? Oh, Trust Christian, yes, there's a calendar system. And you honor the calendar system. You do the calendar system. You make up your own internally for sure, but you have a calendar system. That's the point. You have a calendar system. Trustees, failure activities, the minutes, the calendar. Trust Christian could sit here and tell y'all that some of the trusts that we've engaged in as a trustee, they have health plans. So are you making it a point to just literally let your health go as a trustee? You think this is funny or something? Where hey, yeah, Trust Christian, there's no health plan for the family estate. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's paying for healthcare, right? Right. So is it preventive healthcare or taking care of you healthcare? One of them costs more. There's a cost to it. There's an opportunity cost lost to it if you perform negatively in one area. Because it's taken away from now what you can do physically perform, whether that's with people, for yourself. How are you going to perform How are you going to get anything done if you're not able to get anything done because of your health? It fell apart. It fell apart, trustees. Oh yeah, my health fell apart. Trust Christian. My health fell apart. How? You were taking care of it. The family estate was taking care of it. But the family estate is taking care of it. And so it cost the family estate. It may cost the family estate capital. It may cost the family estate various different things. What did it cost the family estate? Doing failure activities. You're doing more employee work than you are trustee work. Bottom line. Straight up. Trust Christian, that's that? 100%. You gotta make it a point to lean into being the best trustee that you could be. That might serve as an entrepreneur, that might serve as an investor. Some trustees, they don't know the difference, but it is a difference. There's active investments, there's passive investments. So there's entrepreneurship and there's investing. Some trustees, they get it confused though. A lot of trustees, they unfortunately, it's not even unfortunate. It's just the reality of the population. Because we at the vault, just like our mentors, what happens is just because you came from the public system, the public school system, and now you're going private, it doesn't mean that you can't learn it. And that's the issue that people may have with the system is, oh man, Trust Christian, it's so hard to do this and it's hard to do that. Everything is learnable. But oh no, Trust Christian, everybody tells me it's hard and it's easy. That depends on your mindset of learning. Because you wouldn't even be engaged in trusteeship if you didn't think that you was able to learn it. And most of the people come to it saying, okay, I learned, I heard about it, or I saw something about it, and so I want to learn more about it. Great. Here's the thing. The mentors always, still to this day, we almost could say that's the reason why we have the relationship with them. They just want you to stay in the student mentality. They want to see how coachable you are. And top 1% failure activities is thinking that criticism and critique is negative. That's just what it is. And the top 1% doing failure activities is avoiding letting your mentor critique you on how to get better. And top 1% doing failure activities is avoiding getting a trainer. A lot of people want to get personal trainers. I get a personal trainer. Some people are ex-athletes. They know as an athlete, you get a coach. That's what the mentor is. That's what the chairman is. That's what someone that's in trusteeship longer than you is. But what happens is so many people, they don't stick to the training. They say, okay, I got my training wheels off. Now I could just ride and start doing wheelies. And they might do a few tricks. Sounds great. The only difference is Trust Christian knows, the vault knows, the way we've been trained. When you see real riding and cycling, we're riding in packs. It's like a wolf pack. We meet up at events. We have conversations. Why do you think it's called insider trading? Because we meet up and we have conversations. The only reason it's technically legally called insider trading is because the move was so drastic from the move that we made behind closed doors. Like, for example, the other day, then the public stock market, the Magnificent Seven, dang near almost wiped out. Like a huge move. It was a huge swing. It was almost a double-digit swing, meaning that whoever was in the market that day lost 10% of their money. If you had $1 million, you lost 100,000. If you were at 100,000, you lost $10,000. If you're at 1,000, you lost $100. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, the loss is the loss. If you weren't a part of the profit, you're part of the loss in the market. People lost some equity that day from the major firms just making it a point to Say, hey, we're going to take some profit off the table. We're going to sell our assets. They're selling assets. They're selling their income positions. Top 1% doing failure activities. What is it? You talk about association, not making it a point to, we don't want to say force yourself be a trustee every day. Some people say, trust Christian, I find it hard to be a trustee because I don't have a business and to do something every single day. I don't know what to do every day. What do you do every single day? Okay, that's all they want to know. They want the shortcut to know what to do. Trust Christian definitely does a minute every day. The mentors do minutes every day. It's not a. It doesn't have to be a long minute. Oh, Trust Christian, do you ever miss a minute? Ladies and gentlemen, if you're doing stuff on behalf of the family estate, you don't feel bad when you don't do it. You just make it a point to do what the system says you're supposed to be doing. It's as simple as that for us. It's not, oh, Trust Christian, what happens if you miss a day? Do you feel bad? What happens if you miss a day? What are you going to think about the day yesterday? And, oh man, you didn't do it. No. What happened? Did you ever miss it 2 or 3 days in a row? When you're traveling on trips and doing things for the family estate, you got to make it a point to do the minutes. You just pull it up. That's why it's so easy to do it on the computer. That's why it's so easy to do it on the phone. Oh, Trust Christian, you know, the minutes. Is that the only thing you do? What am I writing about? I don't have nothing to write about. You do have something to write about. You're supposed, in the environment we're in, this is the challenge for so many. They don't know the sector like they think they do. Oh, I got it. But you're not doing a minute every day. And the minute is really for two things: what you learned or what you did. But writing what you learned is a minute worthy. Did you learn something new today? What did you learn about trusteeship today? That's really what it comes down to. Are you learning something, early stage trustee, so you can say, okay, get to the point, okay, now we're making some decisions over here for the family estate? Exactly. How many are able to make decisions for the family estate? You're doing your best to make decisions for the family estate. How you can make those decisions if you didn't learn the things you need to learn? And then there's always a constant state of learning, because like we said, the mentors, they only care about your student mentality. They want you to be coachable, so you can do the minutes every day. Then if you're engaged in the minutes every day, you're engaged in learning something every day. Oh, Trust Christian, don't tell me like that. I got a job. I haven't learned anything new in 90 days there. Or what? It just comes down to it, ladies and gentlemen. You gotta learn something new every day. Whether that's about yourself, about the family estate, and it's getting recorded. So the next generation can see that. So the next generation can benefit from your learnings, let alone from the actual blessings. Man, Trust Christian sitting here looking at this episode name. In the top 1% doing failure activities. We think about what inspired us to do this particular episode. And it comes down to, it's like saying, how does a person fall off? Trust Christian, how did you fall off? How did this person fall off? How did that person fall off? They were doing failure activities. They weren't doing minutes. They weren't taking care of their health. They weren't improving and learning consistently. And what happens when you start engaging in the environments where we pretty much are vibrating around the same? There's variations of the degree, but we're still vibrating around the same. Now you know, okay, wow, I gotta make sure I'm vibrating right. Right. So that means you're not gonna vibrate with everybody. Or you gotta vibrate with everybody. Yeah. Once again, see, this is the challenge. People think, oh yeah, I can hang out with the 99 percenters and I'm gonna be just fine. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we're here to give you the kiss on the forehead and tell you all the best to you because we know what it is. We've been in the rooms. We are in the rooms. We know what it is. It's not that. That's why it's called the 1%. So you chose to engage in 1% activities, but then you started doing failure activities. Oh, I'm gonna go back. I gotta hang out with this person. I gotta reconnect with this person. I don't want to leave this person behind. You don't want to leave this person behind. They're not a 1%er. Why are you holding yourself back when they're not a 1%er? Oh, Trust Christian, I don't want to be that distinguished. That's all it is. I don't want to call myself a 1%er over my friend. I don't want to call myself a 1%er over my family. In all actuality, they gonna benefit from you being a 1%er, but you being a 1%er, oh man, Trust Christian, I don't want to be. That's kind of classist. That's kind of elitist. It is elitist. We're okay with that. You want to engage in trusteeship and don't think you're supposed to be an elitist. Oh man, Trust Christian, I'm not gonna be an elitist. That's why you're not gonna make it past the second generation. You don't need to think about where, oh, Trust Christian, you think you can just talk like that? Ladies and gentlemen, we are sitting around families that are swept for sure past the second generation. What are we talking about here? They all think of themselves as a 1%er. Even if they ain't even have $100 million or $1 billion. Oh man, our family estate, we got about $25 million, and in equity and different things, and yeah, that's it. It just quiet as kept. Failure activities. Oh man, I gotta go out here and keep doing what everybody else is doing. What? What is everybody else doing? That's the 99%. Even if y'all say, oh, you're being harsh with it calling 1%. Okay, if we do the top 5 or uh top 10. So if you think about, are you in the top 10%? That's what it comes down to. And there's failure activities for the 90%, and there's failure activities for the top 10. But the ones that's in the top 10, they're different than the one in the bottom 90, because this is where you get things called outliers. These are outliers. There's the 80-20 rule. There's the majority, and then there's the minority. Right. You're in the minority if you're in the 1%. These are people that are not doing certain things. They're not engaged in failure activities. Failure activities. Don't understand the difference between not engaging in investments versus just spending money. Spending currency. Circulating currency. We're fans of circulating currency. Circulating currency somehow got turned into spending versus investing. So now we're into a position where how is your thought process, how is your execution on spending versus investing? Failure activities, predominantly spending, less investing. Failure activities. Failure activities is failing to look into the financial information that you need to look into, the education you need to look into, the information that you need to look into. Being blindsided. A failure activity is being blindsided, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, Trust Christian, are you serious? 100%. When people try to say, oh, I didn't know that. Nah, you didn't know that. That's a failure activity. It's not being able to get the critique that you need around you to where you have your blind sides covered. Really? Yep, you should never get blindsided. That's just bottom line. Some people will like to think that, oh, Trust Christian. No, we're in the top 1%. We don't get blindsided. We're dang near prepared for everything. We're not a butcher knife, and we dang on sure ain't just a switchblade. So it's more of a multi-tool. And for that reason, you definitely are prepared and not unprepared. And even if you aren't prepared, let's just say, things go awry, you still make it a point to win. You still make it a point to show up. You still make it a point to perform at a trustee level. And most of the time, it's not losing. There's no losing involved anymore. It's a learning lesson, or it's a success. Doing top 1% failure activities. Man, trust Christian. I'm not going to track my activities. Failing to track your activities is literally it's a doomsday to failure. No one wants to hear this in a 99%, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, trust Christian, you record every single thing that you do. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all don't want to know. The mentors told us dang near right down when we went to the bathroom, how long we went to the bathroom, so we could measure that out. But what the mentors really were training us into, which is the thought process that we're sharing with the general, is, and this is, see, that's the thing. You're not general when you're in the 1%. We know who we're talking to. Clearly, if someone doesn't want to agree with the thought process, they're not going to move on it. But for the ones of you all that say, trust Christian, I need the nitty gritty. I need to succeed. Did you hear that? You're tired of making it a point to say, oh man, I came up and I didn't perform, or I didn't do. And the reason why you didn't do is because you didn't measure it. That's the secret. Trust Christian, when the mentor said, trust Christian, you got to measure everything so you can achieve it. We're sitting there like, oh, okay, well, we'll get up every day. Our goal is to put in this many hours and close this many things and blah, blah, blah. Okay, the mentor say, did you write that down? We'll say, okay, well, no. Okay, you write it down. Okay, the mentor say, you wrote it down. Right, yeah, I wrote it down. Okay, you came back. Mentor says, okay, now I want you to do that for a period of time. Set a baseline, set a standard for yourself. Write it down, track it. Okay, great. Wow. Whew. Regardless of how I feel, I'm pretty much doing this now. Okay, that's fair. See, trustees, trust Christian walking you through it because we've been through it. Oh man. So I'm prepared before I actually get to the task. 1. 2, you're prepared. 3, it has a measurement to it. Oh, Judge Christian, I'm supposed to do this or do that, and this is how many I'm supposed to do. Okay, great. It's measured. How long am I supposed to dedicate time to this activity? It's measured. You set that standard. Where Trust Christian not sitting here saying, oh, you got to do it the way Trust Christian doing it. You got to write it this way and do it this way and that way and that way. No, you don't. But it's funny because, Trust Christian was thinking about it the other day, and we're thinking about it, and it just comes down to, if you don't set goals, this message is hard to hear. The top 1%, they set goals. You really want to know? We set goals daily. That's that. We just set goals. Every single day, something new, something different, every single day. It's not a day off from setting goals. It's just Judge Christian. I need the secret. There's no, it's got to be a secret. I got to find a secret. You didn't want to hear it. That's all it is. But see, what happens is, I'm going to set a goal, Trust Christian. Yeah, you're going to set a goal. Trust Christian, if I set a goal, how big does the goal got to be? And once again, it's daily. It might change sometimes. Really? Man, Trust Christian, you doing that? Well, it's not the same goal every day. I thought I had to have long-term goals. See, everybody gets scared about the long-term goals. A lot of people get scared about the long-term goals in the 99%. The 1%, we already set our... First of all, we got goals that you're not going to be able to achieve in your lifetime. We got so many goals. So it's not how many goals do you have? And how do you put a time frame on them? Mentors, we were listening to a lesson the other day. He said, don't put time frames on your goals. It's like, but how do I do that, Trust Christian? How do I succeed? You're telling me too much. Okay. The way the mentors truly tell us, they're like, yeah, work on the goal every day. What? You know the long-term goal. There's no date on that. There's no long-term goal is just a dream. When you start doing that measurement every day, you turned it into a goal. Now you got a goal. You got a goal every single day. Every single day. Top 1% failure activities. Top 1% doing failure activities. It's not setting goals. Oh man, trust Christian. I got this family estate. If I was rich, I wouldn't want to do nothing. Yeah, right. You would be doing something. You'd be setting goals for your health. You'd be setting goals on where you're going to travel to. You'd be setting goals on what you're going to learn. You'd be setting goals on who you want to associate and meet. You might have some charitable things that you care about, things that you're interested in. So those are goals, just as much as a dream. The only reason it's a goal or how it turns into a goal is just through setting a time frame on it, setting a measuring it out. Now we got a measurement to it. People try to think they setting goals. Oh, I got this goal. It's far out there and there, sometime in the universe, some date soon, soon, another day, someday, tomorrow. So is it measured? Is it measured? Just not doing that. They're doing failure activities. 100 Church Christian, don't tell me that. Okay, well, we won't tell you then. Because if I hear that, then I gotta do it. Or I know about doing it. Now I know what you doing, Trust Christian in the vault. Which you telling me you do your goals every day. We actually show trustees in trustee training the actual the actual daily to-do sheet, the daily sheet of goals that is actually evolving. It's an evolving document. Just like the trust is supposed to be an evolving document, that's the goals. It's written on paper though. Don't have to be written on paper yet. Some of y'all can sit here and say that it could be on the computer. That's the case. So we appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listening to replay. Christian at trustchristian.com. Trustee Training. Christian at trustchristian.com. Ladies and gentlemen, all these trustees say, oh, I'm in the top 1%. But you're doing failure activities. You're not dreaming. You're not going out and visiting and touching the assets that you plan on acquiring before you have them. Predestination. Premeditation. Trust Christian, it's called premeditated. Yeah. It's predestined. Yeah. If you're destined to have these things, then there is a what is it? It's a pre-visited thing, whether that's in your mind or you actually going to visit the thing, even if you're not able to quote unquote pay for it or physically afford it right now. It's still you visit the thing, you go touch the thing, you go inquire about the thing. And the top 1% doing failure activities. Some people think they need to go on vacations. What happened to the family retreats? What happened to those things? What happened to those things, Trust Christian? We already know. Most people haven't been trained or groomed into that thought process. It's not Trust Christian feeling some type of way or thinking some type of way about it. We understand that, you know, when you're engaged, if you're not going to train yourself, someone else is going to train you. Oh, Trust Christian, don't tell me that. Right. Do you hear the emphasis Trust Christian is doing his best to emphasize to you? That you got to slow yourself down, get to a point where you could say, I got to retrain myself. Just like I was trained the first 9 years of my life, I gotta be. What y'all want to trust Christian? See, trust Christian. Don't use these type of words. I don't want to hear brainwashing. I don't want to hear programming. That's why they call it television programming. But I don't want to hear about programming. Exactly. Trust Christian is here to say, no worries. That's doing the failure activities. Why do you think we go to these events? Why do you think we go to cultural events? To develop our intellect, so we can develop our student mentality, so we can develop our curiosity. Oh man, trust Christian. Give me some of your favorite attributes that give you. Think about what curiosity, that word, leads you to. But we love it though. Wow. Oh, trust Christian. I heard the stupid saying, curiosity killed the cat, and that's why I'm broke. Instead of focusing on exploring your curiosity to learn the information. And what happens is sometimes when you're not around curious people, or they use those type of lines on you, oh yeah, trust Christian, I'm not curious, I don't want to be curious. We were sitting here thinking about one of the words that our mentors identified. We're gonna share this because we want our children to listen to. See, most people ain't creating a legacy, so they don't have nothing for their family to look forward to when they here or gone. But if you got something that you're gonna pass along something to your children, probably the most important people that you care about. And if that's the case, you're gonna start doing things with the intention to actually say, if my kid were to touch this or see this or have this, they're not gonna be burdened with it. Oh no, trust Christian is a different type of thought process. Exactly. So, once again, curiosity. It didn't kill the cat. We don't even know where that came from. Most people don't even know where that came from. But they want to say it. But what happened to the positive side of curiosity? Where you weren't so stifled and uh, just making it a point to whether we call it ego, whether we call it insecurity, any of these things. Being uncomfortable, oh man, I gotta go in that room, I gotta dress up, I gotta go in this room, I gotta talk to people outside my comfort zone. Right, then when I get in here, I gotta go introduce myself to people. Why would you not introduce yourself to people? You paid to be in a room. Or you taking time out of your schedule. Why would you not introduce yourself to the room? See, the thing about it is, a lot of people say, oh, trust Christian, if I go in the room, I'm a look like this guy or that guy, or how can I meet everybody? Man, y'all don't even want to know what the mentors told us about meeting everybody. Mentors told us go in the room and shake everybody's hand. That's like the hard. How's somebody gonna sit here and say, oh, trust Christian, that's hard, man? We know. We know. We understand that, oh man, I gotta have that type of mentality. Ladies and gentlemen, you never know who you're gonna meet. Set a time frame on how long you're gonna talk to people. If it's a great conversation, say, hey, you know what? Such a great conversation. I would love to have this. That's when you actually can get a genuine contact. Is that what it is, trust Christian? You're getting a genuine contact if it goes a little bit longer than your predetermined time frame? Of course. Synergies. What is that? Just interest. Actually, more interest than anything. Similar interest. That's what it is, trust Christian. Every single time. How you gonna get that if you're not curious? Exploratory. Christian at trustchristian.com. We look forward to hearing from you. I appreciate Jersey for tuning in live. Listen to replay. Always appreciate everybody tuning in live. Listen to replay. We got Jersey tuning in live. And we always appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, Trust Christian, we doing our best to pour into you guys so you guys don't do the failure activities. But by default, people gonna hear the failure activity and it'll just turn into a, well, I was already doing that, so I'm not gonna make the changes that I need to make. And we get it. It's probably easy to stay in your comfort zone. Oh man, Trust Christian, I'm not going to improve my daily to-do list sheet. I'm not going to adopt a to-do list sheet. I'm not going to. This is what they say with the other guys we know. This is ridiculous. That's what everyone say it is. Oh, this is ridiculous. You gotta. I'm not tracking using the bathroom. Exactly. And they're missing the point that it's not about you tracking really using the bathroom. It's more of a thought process of tracking, okay, how long do these activities take me on average, so I can build out a day that I actually plan out and I'm in control of the hours, instead of actually thinking that I own time and then I end up getting owned by time because I didn't track and put in place what I need to put in place to actually have help me have predetermined success. It was a risk. Right. Oh man, how do you cut down your risk? You gotta make it a point to do risk analysis. How do you do risk analysis? That's actually called preventive risk management. Are we tracking our progress? Are we did we do previous data research? That was easy. Really? Promise you. Some people are gonna say that it's not, but that's the only reason you can play in this sector is because you have that ability. Some people may say, "Oh, trust Christian. Everybody's strengths and abilities are different." Well, does that mean you have to do everything or something? It's not. It's not about doing everything. You're not gonna do everything. You definitely don't do everything. But failure to learn how to delegate is definitely a problem. It's definitely gonna cause failure. How? Because it, do you think trust Christian? Oh, trust Christian. And this is the funny part. Here we go. Oh, trust Christian. I'm not able to get people to do things that I want them to do because I'm young. No, that has nothing to do with it. It's not about your age. Failure challenges getting people to do things because I'm not. Yeah, no, it has nothing to do with your age. It's about thought process. How do we get people to do what we need them to do? We gotta communicate better. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with saying, "Oh man, I gotta improve my communication skills." Trust Christian, they not where I thought they was at. Fair, get them there. You can improve them. That's the measurement that you can start measuring now. How do I improve this? And you'll figure that out. Trust Christian sharing with y'all. Y'all can figure that out. Trust Christian gonna get y'all one more, and we out of here. You're in the top 1% doing failure activities. What's a failure activity? You fail to brainstorm and think on paper or objectively. So the way Trust Christian will share this with you is one of the mentors he shared with us, and we've been doing this for a long time, but not to say you fall off or something, don't take it like that. It's more along the lines of you have to be consistent. It has to become a lifestyle. At one point, it's just a lifestyle. It's not, oh man, trust Christian, I'm trying to be a trustee. Yeah, that's like saying you got a job. You might as well say you got a job. Oh man, I'm gonna try to be a trustee. Yeah, well, oh, I'm a trustee. You might as well say you got a job. People get in this. I got a trust. I'm in trust. You got a job. That's what you got. And is that wrong? Nothing wrong with that. But it's a job. That means there's a set number of tasks that you got to do to almost stay employed. Mentor said, Trust Christian, you got to take some time every single day and think. And that means you got to set aside some time to think about a situation and not be in a situation. Think from your end and reverse engineer the problem, reverse engineer the situation. Really, yep, that's what they shared with us. It's for us to think from the end. Excuses. Think from the end. And that means you have to think. You can't think about the moment right now. Oh man, I'm in this situation. Some trustees say, "How you think out 4 generations, Trust Christian? How you think out 5 generations?" I'm thinking forward, right? That's definitely could be a little challenging for some people. So what do? You close your eyes and you think about, man, if it was 50 years from now, 100 years from now, technology's better, housing's better. How much? If I had 2, 3 generations, if they were to make it 2, 3 generations, how much would I want them to have? What do I want it to look like? Trust Christian, this is a lot of planning. Do families really do this? Of course. It's not for everybody, ladies and gentlemen. It's 1%. It's called the 1%. They thinking different. We're thinking different. Oh man, Trust Christian, you guys are thinking in decades, not just in years. Duh. I'm not thinking in no days. but we think about things daily for sure, because we talked about that in this episode about how we're talking about the what is that? Doing your to-do list schedule and goals every single day. Oh man, Trust Christian, it sounds like a lot of work and details. Well, if you think the 60 years that you put on planet Earth, or 80 years you put on planet Earth, is going to outlive the next 3 or 4 generations without you having a true plan and execution, have fun. We're always going to tell people have fun. Don't matter if you ain't going to do it or not, but have fun. But Trust Christian in the Vault, we already know. The rooms we sit in, the ones that third generations, if anything, these are the most superior generation. You think you're gonna be a superior being. Oh man, I'm gonna do great work. Some people, that's how you know you're not thinking right. Oh man, I hope the second and third generation don't do worse than me. No, they're actually gonna do better than you. They may, and this is where it gets challenging, because it's saying, oh well, if they're gonna get better than me, should they follow in my footsteps in the same industry, dominate industries for generations to come, like we know families that do? The Waltons are doing it with Walmart. Oh man, Trust Christian, I want generational wealth. You know who Walmart is, right? Yeah, they still doing the same thing. They're not doing nothing different. What are we talking about? So, oh man, once again, there are some families, they not leaving the industry. They already know what dominance is, and they're not about. If the third generation has their head screwed on their shoulders, they're not trying to lose that. Not trying to lose. I was born into a great situation. I'm not about to lose this. Guess what I'm gonna do? This is where people get hurt. Oh man, they gonna go back to school to help the family estate out. Oh really? I didn't want to force it on my kids, Trust Christian. I know. How do you not force it on your kids? If you were doing, once again, if you thinking from the end and you reverse engineer it, your kids are gonna want to help out. The second and third generation are gonna want to help out the family estate. It's just what it is. Because they see, oh wow, I was given something, so I could take advantage of this situation. And how do I keep this situation? By me giving to the situation. Not, oh man, I'm going to go out, do my own thing, and then I'm not going to contribute back. And that's fair, but once again, that's an individual mindset as opposed to the family estate mindset, or trustee mindset of the family estate, instead of being a beneficiary. Because there is a beneficiary mindset and there's a trustee mindset. There's a difference. And if y'all want to tap in with that, is that people say in the world, want to connect with Trust Christian in the Vault, feel free to reach out, Christian@trustchristian.com. Once again, Christian@trustchristian.com. We look forward to hearing from you all. Peace.